Good morning. This is Professor Anderson with a little bit of feedback for your writing assignment number 2, rough draft. And wow, this is really awesome. I can see immediately, well, before I begin there, I want to share with you that when I assess anything or review anything, I pull up the assignment task sheet. So I make certain that I have all of the elements of it. And I go by the rubric, and you can find this in the assignment folder. Mine's located in a little different area, so that's why I had to not click on the same area that you would access the rubric, but it's basically two separate sections. One, although it's divided into three, it's really the information and the organization. So did you collect enough scholarly resources? Are you citing them and listing them appropriately? That's the information. And then the organization element of it, have you created or collated the information into subtopics and utilized appropriate grammar? And when I look at yours, check, check, check. Awesome. I love this. The way that you've outlined the topic, you've organized each of the subsections, you've bolded them, you've cited beautifully throughout. So that is really wonderful. A couple of things that I would recommend is just to go back and what I call clean up, making certain that we're staying clear, concise, and concrete. And try to avoid any emotional phrases or phrases that are, they weigh more heavily on one area than the other, because recall that the purpose of a synthesis review is not about your opinion. It is not about how you feel on the topic. It is simply to report what has been discovered in terms of the resources that you use. So I would reorganize the initial sentence to say a synthesis or a review of literature regarding issues of surrounding breastfeeding, or let me try and rethink this for just a second. A review of the literature available on surrounding breastfeeding identified three major areas of concern. These scientists, or information shows scientists, or information from these sources target the norming of breastfeeding, the barriers that exist, and advancements in understanding breastfeeding, or how do advancements affect the breastfeeding rate. I'm not sure how to organize that, and I'm sorry I'm not so clear right now on my recommendation, but what I would recommend that you do instead, just be very clear, concrete, and direct. This, information or scholarly review, or review of scholarly articles in trade journals show indicate three targeted areas of concern with respect to breastfeeding. They are. So here we go. Should breastfeeding be a normal part of mother's everyday schedule? I love how you have identified this, given a quick introduction to each of these subsections. You've cited throughout appropriately in text citations, and then you've given individual or organized the information underneath of each of the categories. A couple of the things within this. So the first section that I read, for some reason I was thinking that this was the medical benefits. So here, I'm not sure. What I read in this first area is really about the medical benefits or the health benefits. I'm not sure the title of should it be a normal part of that, may be a little suggestive, or perhaps are there health benefits from breastfeeding would be a better subtitle of that section, because that is what your information is targeting, is what I'm reading through that first section. And then the public barriers and the advancements raised. Well, I'm not really, perhaps it should be public advocacy of breastfeeding, but maybe that would be a little bit more of a more targeted subtitle. And when I get down to, I'm going all the way through here to your resources, the way you've referenced them is beautiful. I am really looking forward. I wanted to also say thank you for participating in that Effective Writing Center workshop. I think that Nancy did such a great job, and I could see and read through all of your participation in there. And I can tell you, Debbie, this really shows in your paper. So kudos to you, and I look forward to reading your final copy.